say I was intrigued when Bandai announced that they were going to be adding a sister line to the Robot Damashii, and this line would include die-cast parts and form Metal Robot Damashii, but then they announced that it was going to be the High New Gundam, and they'd not long released a version in the base Robot Damashii line, so it was a bit of an awkward thing really, because I'd got the Robot Damashii version in hand when they announced it, and yeah, what do you do? Well, I ended up buying it, and I'm kind of glad I did. So the core difference between this and the base Robot Damashii release is that there's a internal frame made of die-cast. You can see all of the little parts. There's some nice gold painted parts to it, but all through the figure there's this these die-cast parts, and that means that this weighs a ton. I mean, you plonk it down, that weighs a ton, but you compare the Robot Damashii version and this thing weighs virtually nothing. Now you can also see that another major difference is the amount of paint applications on this. Even going down to the gun's got a lot more. Well, it's actually got paint applications. This is all moulded plastic. You've got a lot more decals coating it. I mean, this one's not shy of them. You know, I must admit that's it's got plenty. You can see that the shields are almost identical, but this version has a bit more. So you can see there that venting is actually a bit different from the venting on this. They do. It just looks different. It just really does. Not immediately, but it's when you get down to the little things. Now, it is kind of awkward having these two versions around. I mean, the main awkward bit is that there doesn't visually seem to be much difference in the sculpts. To be honest, I've found hardly anything. Every time I think I see a difference in the sculpt, so I had a look at these and it was like, oh, maybe that bit of armor's a little bit different shaped, but actually, no, it really isn't. You know, it's virtually identical. Which, you know, is kind of an odd thing to essentially re-release the same figure but build a subframe using metal instead of plastic. But what that does actually afford them to do is to make this figure a lot tighter. This version I really dislike because everything is really loose. This shoulder is just, you can see there, it carries no weight at all, and you've got this massive shield on there. It just increases the build quality of it, and to be honest, this version really is not worth having when you've got this version around. The whole solid core, the fact that everything's made of metal, so you've got significantly stronger joints on here. And it's just a lot prettier. I mean, even down to the hands have this metallic paint to them. You know, it's a huge difference in quality, but not a huge difference in actual construction. I mean, you know, all of the limbs look the same. I think the only thing that seems to be different, and even then we'll probably find out when I'm looking at them here that they're not. Yeah, you see, even the boosters on the back, they don't seem to be that different. Let me just put that version on the side. You know, these are the same, completely the same. This has got some washing on it. It's got a much more bronze paint, like a coppery bronze paint, compared to this one's slightly weak version. And obviously this one's got some graphics on it, but this one's nice and clear. Well, say nice and clear, completely clear. So yeah, so it's the step up really does seem to be down to how these two are actually painted, which is kind of weird, because you know you're releasing a whole brand new line, and what you throw out is essentially a figure you've already done. There are some actual differences in what you get though, in the fact that the plastic version, the original Robot Damashii, comes with all the additional parts for the funnels. So with this version you get the funnels. They've got lovely number. I guess that's tamper-graphed onto there. But you don't get any of this, any of these functions. You know, you don't get this, these plastic parts. You can probably use them because I don't think these are any different. They're same length there and same length there. But that does seem kind of crazy if you're buying the same figure and you're getting, but you have to have both versions to get these extra parts. Now they might release some parts that are more specific to this version. I wouldn't expect it though, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they've even got the connector part for this section here, this plastic section here, is still actually in this backpack. So you know, you've got an increase in the paint quality, the use of metal, but ultimately you have the same figure. Now obviously the metal does increase the price of this figure, but frankly the production quality on this just so outstrips this. I mean, you saw me there, every time I put this down the legs just splay. It has no ability to hold this figure up. It really is an utter mess. And I kind of, after I bought this, I really disliked it. I just got really fed up with it. But I picked up this version and suddenly I'm like, actually yeah, it is a really cool figure. And it's purely down to the fact that the construction of this is so much more solid, so much more suitable to this particular mobile suit than the pure plastic. It is a bizarre thing though. I mean, you know, accessories wise, you get a rocket launcher or whatever it is with both of them, but obviously you can see here this is the version that comes with the metal one because it's got so much more paint applications to it. Paint applications, it's got graphics on it. It's all in all a significantly better figure. And when you get the hands, I mean, these hands, they're just really lovely, really absolutely lovely figures. Have lovely hands because they've got that metallic sheen to them. So yeah, so you know, you are buying the same figure. You know, you would be getting the same figure. Even the beam sabers, they're both in the same place on both figures. But with this figure, you're getting a mess of plastic, and it doesn't work. With this figure, you are getting a solid action figure. And to be honest, if I hadn't got this version, I would probably have hated the High New Gundam for some time. Now this figure does also have some of the other flaws, not actual construction flaws, but design flaws. You'll see here with the gun, it can't hold the gun straight. You have to have, there's no clearance there at all. You basically have to have the gun held at an angle under his shoulder, which is great for doing a pose like that, but not for doing a pose where you're trying to shoot. You know, you still get the nice bend there, but you've got all this metal construction that's doing it, and it's really, really solid. I just don't have any complaints about the construction of this. You get the ab crunch still works, all of the bending still works to it. The knees still bend, but you know, I mean, you can see there that joint is so solid, so solid. You bend it, the knees, they look great. They're really built to be tough. I mean, this figure is solidly built. There's no doubt about it. I mean, even to the point, it's even in some degrees kind of detrimental, because you've got to properly push these limbs out, which, you know, is worrying, but it is, you know, it's metal, so it's far less likely to shear than the plastic. And you also get all of these extra paint apps. I mean, they are fantastic, even down to, if we can get zoom in, there's even a caution symbol, caution signs on the foot. You know, this is fantastic. This really is. It's a really great opening to the line, in that they've managed to produce a figure that corrects all of the problems that they had. Well, at least that I had with the base Robot Damashii version. I'm hoping they don't continue this vein of bashing out the same suits, but with a metal core. I'd like to see some of the suits which don't actually work with plastic. We'll see. We'll see how they get on. But yeah, I mean, it's more expensive. I will take that as a point, as a problem, but I honestly don't think the Robot Damashii version is worth the money that you're paying. This is definitely worth the money, and I'm hoping Bandai do a lot more with this line. I'd really like to see some of the suits that they've been putting out in the Metal Fix figuration line, but as actual action figures. But we'll see how they get on. Obviously, you know, it is dependent on how well they're sold, but since they've essentially re-released a figure, it may not sell that well. I really hope they don't treat that as, if that's the case, I really hope they don't treat that as a failure for this, because this is a fantastic figure. Really solid, really pretty. I mean, there haven't been, apart from if you have to apply the decals yourself, you're not going to get a prettier figure in the Robot Damashii line. So yeah, so great job to Bandai, and I really hope this is a good thing for the future of the Robot Damashii line. Anyway, thanks for watching.